Hello guys, today we'll be talking about taking venous blood sample from a patient. First step is assemble the equipment. Decide the amount of blood required, keep the required tubes ready, select the appropriate size of the needle. Second step is introduction and consent. Introduce yourself, confirm patient's identity, explain procedure and take verbal consent. Without consent, you cannot draw anyone's blood, so it is very important. Third step is make the patient comfortable. It's preferred that the patient should be in the supine position. Reassure that the person is not anxious or afraid. Ask about any allergy or phobia that he might have. The next important part is to perform the hand hygiene. You can use soap and water, perform the 7 steps of hand washing. You can also use the alcohol rubbed gloves. It's very important if you have any bruise or injury on your hand. Then you have to select the site. Antecubital site is preferred because the veins are larger and fuller here than in the wrist or hand or in the ankle. A good vein should be appropriate in size. You can feel for the vein using your left hand. Mostly median cubital vein is preferred as it lies between the muscles and is usually most easy to puncture. Now another advantage of selecting median cubital vein is it does not roll or slip beneath the skin. Basilic vein runs between an artery and nerve, so puncturing here the risk of damaging it is more, and also puncturing basilic vein is more painful. After that you have to apply a tourniquet, usually 4 or 5 finger width above the vein, then the puncture site, and you have to re-examine the vein. These tourniquets are available in the market, but if it is not there you can use Foley catheter or even you can use the gloves. The patient should be instructed to clench the fist to aid in building up the blood pressure in the area of the puncture. The next step is to disinfect the entry site. Clean this site with 70% alcohol soap for at least 30 seconds and allow it to dry. Here alcohol is preferred to povidone iodine because if the blood is contaminated with povidone iodine, it may result into false increasing potassium and phosphorus or uric acid levels in the laboratory test results. How to disinfect the site is you have to start from the center and you have to move towards the periphery. While you're doing a circular motion from inside towards outside, you're swiping the microbes from the center to the periphery. So the center area is clean. You have to cover an area of approx 2 cm or more. Make sure the area is dry before you do a vein puncture. Failure to allow enough contact time of alcohol will increase the risk of contamination. Do not touch the site after disinfecting it because if you're going to touch it again, it will become contaminated. Before vein puncture, you must know the important parts of the needle. This is bevel, shaft and hub. Hub is the sharpest part pointing downwards, while bevel faces upwards. The hub part is important. As soon as you enter the lumen, blood will appear at the hub while you are taking venous blood sample. The scale should be towards your side so you can see how much ml of the blood you have taken. So while taking the blood, make sure see that the needle is fixed directly towards the syringe. Do not touch the needle again. Ensure that the needle is not blocked and the syringe does not contain any air. Step 8 is performing vein puncture. Anchor the vein by holding the patient's arm and placing your left hand below the venous puncture site. By this, you're making the skin tight over the vein to prevent it from moving. Hold the needle in the right hand position, the needle to keep the bevel upward, and the scale of the needle should be facing towards your side so you can see how much ml of blood you have taken, and then push it firmly and steadily into the center. First we'll be entering the skin, then the vein. Make sure the angle 30 to 40 degree angle. As the needle entered the vein, there is certain loss of resistance that you feel and blood will appear in the hub of the needle, and then slightly pull back the piston and fill the syringe. Make sure to release the tourniquet before withdrawing the needle. This is done to prevent the formation of hematoma. Withdraw the needle gently in one rapid movement and apply gentle pressure to the side with a clean gauze or dry cotton ball. Ask the patient to press the firm side with the gauze or cotton ball for at least 3 to 5 minutes. Do not allow the patient to bend because by doing so, hematoma can form there. If the mandate is not available, then make sure to put the bandage over the puncture site. Remember, never ever recap a needle. Discard the needle in the puncture-proof container. Remember, the practice of using needle burn it is now avoided these days because it is said that toxic gases are released which are harmful for your body. Put that blood into the laboratory tubes, label them, and then dispose the syringe. After that, discard them. Use the appropriate category after taking a sample. Perform a hand hygiene again as described. If in certain cases when you have to recap the needle, then use one hand scoop technique as follows.